In our top 10 Avalon Hill board games video, many of you felt that we missed your favorite games, so I spent some time compiling and tallying over 1,500 comments to create a definitive viewer's choice top 10 Avalon Hill board games list. I hope you enjoy your picks here on Legendary Tactics. We really appreciated all the stories you shared and all the memories and experiences you had with Avalon Hill games. Even more, we valued all the games you named as your favorites. So I spent about 3 days compiling, sorting, tallying the games you included in your lists. At the end of this video, I'll give you a look at all of the results since you mentioned over 80 games. There are some real gems in there. Thank you so much for offering your thoughts on what the top 10 best Avalon Hill board games are. This video is sponsored by Dark City Games. They're an independent wargame company that focuses on small format simple games for either solitaire or small group play. If you're looking for affordable games, check them out. We'll link to their shop at the top. We do need to name some honorable mentions that almost made the list and ranked very highly. I was really disappointed that my favorite game, Diplomacy, didn't quite make the list, but it was very, very close. Tactics 2 was just shy of making the list as well. One of the first games I owned, Stalingrad, was also a close call. Luftwaffe, Battle of the Bulge, and Richthofen's War were also highly regarded. Let's begin with number 10. While most of you were disturbed by my co-creator's pronunciation of this game, Afrika Korps, many of you agreed that Afrika Korps is most certainly a top 10 Avalon Hill title. Just remember that my buddy was 12 years old when he got this game, and I confess that off camera I also pronounce it incorrectly because I was the one playing the game with him back then, and it's not just some weird Canadian thing. I got my copy at a garage sale, but sadly somewhere along the way it disappeared in a purge. This game taught basic logistics, and some of you likely remember the Rommel counter that made other units faster. With only 7 pages of rules, Afrika Korps, Afrika Korps was a really accessible game. Your 9th pick is a 2-player game from 1974, Wooden Ships and Iron Men. And some of you told us that you upgraded your game with miniatures to add to the realism of the game. It had lots of replayability with different scenarios and was medium complexity level with a 30-page rulebook. If you're into naval tactics, this was likely a favorite. It's the kind of game that people lent to their friends and never got back. In 1996, they made a video game version, which was a little bit clunky, but it captured the essence of the game. I haven't played this one, but if any of you know more about the games on this list, please add your stories in the comments. Your 8th pick is one that's filled with political intrigue. Kingmaker is a game that was often hard to find opponents for, like so many Avalon Hill games. Perhaps it was because it seemed like it never ended, or perhaps it brought out the crazy in people just a little bit too much. This one simulated the Wars of the Roses in England. Many of you mentioned that after all these years, you still have this game on your shelf, and it's really beaten up. And perhaps that's the best test of time. Which games survived the cullings for you, and which ones are turning to dust from sheer playtime? If you don't mind taking a moment to like, share, subscribe, and all that business that YouTube loves, then more people will see this video and our creators will feel rewarded for the time we spent crunching this data. Your 7th pick is also one of my favorites. I remember playing this game sprawled out on my games room floor. Jutland was a really cool game. My parents thought I was crazy to be playing a board game without a board. It turns out I wasn't the only one that needed a dedicated room for a whole weekend to play an Avalon Hill game. This game also influenced some of my more recent gaming choices because they remind me of Jutland. They include Wings of War, or Wings of Glory, and Star Wars X-Wing. All of these are miniature games with measured movement. Jutland really caught my attention because it had dozens of unique ships, and I just pictured myself controlling all of them. So much fun. Number 6. One reason that many of you cited for choosing one of these games over all the rest was that you never forget your first love. And for many of you, that game was Blitzkrieg from 1965. It was one of Avalon Hill's earliest releases, and it used a similar system to many other hex games, so learning one meant that you had a reasonable understanding of many others. It was the successor to Tactics and Tactics 2, and it got a lot of people into wargaming. One interesting difference with this game is that it was based on a fictional or ahistorical period set in World War II, and the opponents in Blitzkrieg are abstract nations, Big Red and Great Blue. Your number 5 pick was the first Avalon Hill game I ever owned, Midway. I love this game too. When I was a kid, the best part of this game was the fog of war, not knowing exactly where your opponent was. As the Japanese, you're moving your fleets into position near Midway, trying desperately not to be spotted by the Americans, while the Americans are scrambling to find and sink the Japanese ships before they can take control of the key strategic island Midway. The board was a little bit uninspired, but it was very functional. The tactical play and the battles were what really got me excited about this game. I loved how the battles zoomed in, fighters and dive bombers were placed, and the big ships came out and the fight began. There were just so many different options for players. On to number 4. One game that viewers were most shocked about not being on our list was The Rise and Decline of the Third Reich from 1974. In one comment, Vortex told us that he loved this game so much that he snuck the rules into a top secret facility in the US Air Force. Now that's hardcore. You described this game as magnificent and beautiful, and many of you said that this was the game that you played the most. It's a realistic simulation of the grand strategic situation in Europe during World War II. It's also the most complex game on this list with a complexity rating of 10, and it was definitely not a game for novices, the feeble-minded, or even for people with pets or kids for that matter. If you have memories with any of these games, we'd love to hear your stories in the comments. Also, please let us know if any of the games on this list surprised you. If you'd like to connect with other Avalon Hill players, the link to our Discord channel is in the description. We're down to our top 3. While I was tallying votes, there were 2 games that were neck and neck the whole time, and whenever one was mentioned, so was the other. Both are excellent games, but the one you picked for the 3rd spot is Panzer Blitz. For many people, this was the gateway game into the hobby. It was the first one you owned, and it got you hooked. It was one of the best-selling war games of all. It was a fast-playing game from Jim Dunnigan, who was the founder of SPI. In the 70s, this game was played by just about everyone in the wargaming hobby. After we realized we'd missed out on it, we had a look on Marketplace, and we found this game for $15 just a couple weeks ago, along with its sister game, and your 2nd overall pick, Panzer Leader. 4 years after Panzer Blitz came out, Panzer Leader was released. The former is set on the Eastern Front and the latter is set on the Western Front. One of the issues with Panzer Blitz was its I go, you go format, which led to some issues with responding to firing opportunities presented by your opponent's movement. Panzer Leader introduced opportunity fire so that units could stop and fire at a unit at any point during its movement, and it also refined and improved on some other issues that had cropped up in the original design. There were minor tweaks, but for the most part, they seemed to really improve the game. I did notice that many of you modified the game by combining it with, say, Arab-Israeli wars, or by putting multiple copies of the game together. Perhaps this is the coolest part of this game, is having geomorphic boards that were playable in both Panzer Blitz and Panzer Leader. Made the games really replayable. Perhaps the number 1 pick is no surprise to many of you. By far, and without question, the most popular game as selected by the community is Squad Leader. This is definitely the best game that Avalon Hill ever made. Many of you called this the perfect game. Some of you shared stories of playing this game with loved ones, fathers, brothers, uncles, and teachers. And it was this game that brought you together and created memories that have spanned over 40 years. As promised, I'll share the graph with you of all of your picks and how they ranked. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to check out the other videos by our other 2 creators on their top 10 Avalon Hill games, or our games list for SPI. Some awesome games in there too. This is Legendary Tactics.